Welcome everyone back to Blue Otter. I am Rue, and I'm joined today by Ozzy as we embark on another wonderful experience in the Diamond Division, where we have a matchup of some teams that are currently 2-0. We have the Jellyfish Jammers representing XSV on the blue side for Game 1, Final Boss Hillbillys on the red. Welcome everyone in, and Ozzy, welcome to Blue Otter Diamond as well.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. Happy to show up and get back to some of my casting roots, I suppose, as I'm usually casting M600 nowadays, but really not a whole lot of that going on at the moment. So we're here having fun down in BOL Diamond as... Oh, good luck. I have no words. I have just no words.
Straight in. There is no delay in this one. Zyra picked up on B1 by XSV. I would hesitate to say support. Zakharos does like playing the Zyra. I wouldn't be shocked if it finds way elsewhere, though, because Jabba Jabba absolutely loves playing it as well. Jungle Zyra still as annoying as it ever was, and new Deathfire Touch is doing things.
Yeah, so unfortunately Zyra is back to clearing at breakneck speeds, to the point that not only can she full clear her entire jungle, be level 4, while your bot lane is level 2. Deathfire Touch, as you mentioned, still one of the best runes in the entire game, and the fact that Riot continues to just not nerf it, and instead are nerfing literally everything else around it besides the rune that's causing the issues. Great balancing stuff right there. Yeah, super abusive with Deathfire Touch and that clear speed. I cannot believe it's in the game at the moment. Like, the fact you can cheat out level 4 and then go gank bot and they're both level 2, like, they have no chance. Literally no chance of responding, especially if you play. But that none is going to be an Orianna, and still one of the best mid laners in the game. Who can truly complain about picking up Orianna there? And then the Leona, in case it does go support, is not bad, because you can use the Zenith Blade to get yourself on top of the Zyra, who typically does not like people being there in the first place.
Yeah, well, a lot of our kit is designed around keeping people at arm's length for as long as possible. We'll see if XSV are able to do so. The Wukong taken very quickly here. I'm surprised at how fast they have potentially dissolved this flex, unless they're going crazy with it. I mean, I feel like we may be going crazy with it. Let's just pick 3 junglers for Game 1.
Okay, well, yeah, let's just go sicko mode. Of course, AP Xin Zhao has yet been touched as well, so that is an option here. Though I think this basically is just guaranteeing that this is Zyra support in my mind. Like, sure, you can play Wukong top, you can play Xin Zhao mid. Are you really going to do both of those things blind, though? Like, that just feels kind of not that's happening. Oh, Wukong's Caitlyn. All right, well, that's
Wukong is Caitlyn. Well, that's
okay,
a blatant lie. Wukong is Wukong. That's not fair.
Yeah, that's a bit making a bit more sense there.
Yes, I think it makes a lot more sense as well with the fact that Caitlyn Zyra is just yet another really annoying Caitlyn lane, right? We're approaching levels of Kate Karma. Expect level 3s from either side. Danger, definitely, in the bot lane. I feel like Lucian, though, on R3 here is a little bit odd. Pairing it with a Leona doesn't necessarily feel great for the Lucian.
I mean, I feel like this is just the easiest Melio slam of your entire life, but then you opted to early pick Leona for some reason, so... And then you're just like, yeah, we're gonna pick Lucian here. It's fantastic. I would be shocked. I would be 100% shocked if this Lucian gets a lead. Outside of like some, I think we might remake the draft. Sorry, I got a little bit distracted there. Things are not going so well, as you can tell. You know, we had the Wukong Orianna dilemma. We got bans being potentially wrong. It's whatever. All like they're banning. Like, Caitlyn is Wukong ban. I'm so lost.
Caitlyn and Wukong just swapped at this point.
Do these people know how to work the draft? You know.
They may have messed things up along the way, though. We'll have to see if this one does continue. If we're going to try and remake it a little bit cleaner than it currently is, but we'll assume that everything's right for now. As we head into our 4th pick here, I would like to point out that Jackie does like playing Lucian a lot, so from that perspective, I get it. Pairing it with a Leona, though, I maybe get a little bit less. They have name synergy, and that's about it. They both start with L. I think that's where it starts and where it ends. The Jarvan, though, has a lot more synergy. Trap him in place, hit the culling over the top. Solar Flare into the Cataclysm as well. sounds quite nice, and especially when you have something as immobile as something like Kate Zyra. If you get them both in the Cataclysm, we're talking about a really nice wombo turning up here for Final Boss.
Yeah, especially because Caitlyn has a lot of pressure put on her net in general by Leona, right? Like, having to space Leona's Zenith Blade is going to be problematic. And then if Caitlyn also has to burn it to get out of J4 cage, and you're, very good at holding your EQ, right? You can just follow that up really nicely. But the Scion, hopefully, which is correct, makes sense. Nice blind pick top laner here. Does provide a bit of a struggle, I think, already for Final Boss's comp. I mean, you're looking across the board, right? Orianna, Lucian, definitely not the best at killing Scion. However, things like Gnar and, are available here. And the Anivia, I think, just for some zone control, paired with a Zyra, is going to be quite nice. Although, I am worried here just a little bit, because I don't necessarily think this Anivia is really going to prevent a whole lot in terms of zone control. Like, they just have such an easy way of getting in general here for Final Boss. Oh man, I just, like, this draft has just devolved into, like, we're first picking Zyra, we're blind picking Leona because we don't know where Zyra's going. Then we decide to pick Lucian into Caitlyn Zyra, and then we got Garen.
Yeah, I feel like
so
of all the games to have pure comfort being picked, game 1 is usually not that game. Right, usually the comfort draft come through in game 3 where it's like, right, screw team comp, screw anything else. Let's just try and like play this out to the best of our abilities and get something going. The pure comfort game 1 is not what I was ready for. Right, the Lucian pocket pick being thrown out early with a Leona for vibes. I mean, Syndra banned away at least stops that from being a possibility, but the Orianna is most people's fallback, especially in mid. It's been around for so long. Basically every level that you have to be somewhat used to playing Orianna, even if it is still such a high ceiling and honestly quite a low floor champion as well. There's like a lot you can do to make up that gap. Garen kind of the opposite, and that's why a lot of people have that comfort in the top lane there, and then Jarvan to meld it all together. You know what? Final Boss, if comfort's what we're going for, then I think they've drafted pretty well for that as a condition for playing the game. XSV, on the other hand, zone control, as you're saying, is the name of the game, right? Caitlyn, Zyra, plus Anivia, please stay this far away, no closer or no further. Whether that works out when you have gap closers like Jarvan, like Leona, remains to be seen.
Yeah, I think so. The biggest factor for me is I think picking comfort is good, right? Because of course you want to be on a champion you know how to play rather than a champ you're kind of just pretending you can play because it's in the meta. But if you're gonna pick something like Lucian, why not just pair it with a champ that, like, Lucian Nami, Lucian Milio are both in the meta right now as like kind of a game 2, game 3 champ like duo professionally, and also even in like higher elos like M600 plus, right? You just move up. Like, a champion is there. It's not like the champion's bad. It's not like, the pairings are bad. But if the goal is here for you to play Lucian this game, something like a Milio to at least mitigate the range disadvantage this Lucian is going to have, in my mind, would have made more sense. But then pairing that up because you early picked Leona, to me, just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And I think there would have been better options into the Caitlyn, right? I feel like there's a plethora of AD carries here that would perform better. Thinking like Jen, right? Like, you would need something a bit different than the Orianna in mid lane to kind of play Jen this game because of the Scion, but that's hindsight. There's just better options. You could have even picked Varus here. You could play on-hit Varus this game. I don't even think that's a bad option. I think trying to play that into Anivia is a little difficult, but you're just going to have to get over it, right? Like, I don't think the Lucian's going to have as good of a time. If it might even have a worse time because he actually has to go forward into the Anivia where the Varus can kind of just hold its ground. But unfortunately, that's not what we got here for Final Boss. They're stuck into this Lucian Leona lane, and maybe comfort will prevail. Maybe they will get the jump in the bot lane and bully out this Caitlyn Zyra, get them out of the lane, get them in uncomfortable spots, maybe find a few kills, which I think is very desperately needed here for Final Boss. Because if they do not blow open this mid game, out the door. Like, I'm talking like 6K plus gold lead here in the mid game. I think there's just no world they're killing Scion this game, and they're just gonna slowly bleed out because they're gonna get outscaled.
Yeah, well, I definitely agree with the whole scaling point. This is this is not looking pretty if the game goes to 35 to 40 minutes. Hopefully, Final Boss are able to get take care of business a little bit before then. But Jellyfish, I'm sure, will be looking to hang on for as long as possible, turn those tides around, maybe even turn the tides before that point even begins, right? Because they still have some very nice early game times to play around. Xin Zhao definitely can't keep up with, we'll talk about as the Zyro Gillespie, but can keep up with the Jarvan, and his healing on this new build is obnoxious. So I'm sure that could be something that they want to play around themselves. The tankiness you pointed out, a definite problem, and the spacing is going to be difficult for Final Boss. A lot of the champions want to operate right inside of where Jellyfish Hammers are happy for Final Boss to be. So we'll see if they want to do that, or if we're going to have to switch things around. So at any rate, we will going to take a short little break right now before we head into game one. We're just waiting on the client spec delay. So until that point, we'll be back when game number one is ready. Thank you all for sticking with us throughout what has been one of the drafts of all time. And I hope for our sake, we're able to maybe sort something out as well in terms of that overlay, because Fearless is going to be screwed from this draft. Either way, we'll be back in a minute. welcome everybody on to the Rift for Game 1 in the series between XSV, Jellyfish, and the final boss. We have, I believe, a small little tech pause. We just got through there instantly. Panda boss with a DC, then a Reese. I'm sure he'll be absolutely fine and ready to go. I was watching him not by his jungle pet for a second. Got a little bit scared, but he is on there. He is out there. And he's even getting potential vision here around mid lane, looking to make maybe some early game 2v2. What is this pathing? No way this works. Okay, gets vision of the Raptors, and then just stares them down. That was shaping up to be so much more interesting. No fun.
There's never any fun here. There is no fun in bossing, say. As will be a pretty standard jungle start. Of course, everybody's been vying for this like Raptor ward. In fact, you see some like higher elo teams starting to punish it. Did not happen here, of course. Both wards going down without really any conversation towards them in the way of any kind of fighting or prevention. But oh well, it is what it is. And yeah, this is going to be a fun lane for the Leona. I'm sure. As already.
Yeah, this is one of the times you consider going W start. Like, just to survive. This is miserable for Griffin. Jackie not going to have all too much fun either, especially with how long it's going to take his junglers, both junglers, to get down here, starting on the top side. Will be spotted, of course, you pointed out, with those early wards. Is there anything else in terms of runes, in terms of summoners potentially that's caught your eye, or we just, will be the default of default today's?
I mean, in reality, if I had to nitpick, like, I mean, absolute nitpick here, I think Zarkaros should have gone Deathfire Touch because it is actually more damage in the stages of the game that you care about your Zyra doing damage. So it just falls off mid-game. But thankfully you have pretty decent mid-game overall. And then it comes back swinging late game. So it is less damage in the early game and does get outpaced late game. But I guess in the mid-game, definitely not a bad option. But that's just like, that's such a minor, like it is such a minor nitpick that it truly does not matter. Like it is so minor, it doesn't matter.
What is Panda Boy doing down here? He's done his top 3 camps straight into the level 3 into bot.
Wait.
And Zakaros, I mean, his Caitlyn base. His Caitlyn is not
happening?
They went back for Cull.
Why did we just buy Cole on Caitlyn in a winning lane?
I couldn't answer that one, but I also can't answer why we're then stepping up into a very unfriendly looking Jarvan who waited there for about 30 seconds. I was looking on the minimap. He was just there the whole time waiting for someone to overstep. Now potentially looking to turn things back around is Quiche. Panda Boy turning up his off. Flash Whip becomes lightning into Jackie. Going to get the flash back there out of the Lucian. Flash as well out of Griffin as he looks to retreat as we turn potentially into a bit of a 3 versus 3. So a couple of summoners burnt in the bot side. I'm surprised that worked as well as it did there for Panda, who has still gone 3 camps into Crab, looking for a base. He's down quite a bit himself, but with Jibber Jabber moving over so early, he's also not level 3 yet, waiting on top Crab. He might not even get that. Overall, not affecting jungle too much, just a massive kill for bot that was kind of unnecessary to give over there for Jellyfish.
Yeah, I mean, Zarkaros obviously knew that his AD carry was backing. Like, very noticeable. And they're in comms. Granted, it shouldn't have happened, but it did, so it is what it is. But Panda Boy with this pathing is actually just... Yes, he's gonna get double crap. That's cool. But think about how long his camp respawn timers are gonna be at this point. Like, he's super desynced.
He's just leaving his bot side. He's going to go for a second rotation on his bot, but that's not important for now. Instead, what's much more important is what Quiche is doing here on the bot side. Griffin, very far committed after trying to get all that extra damage to keep Jackie and get him back out safely. He also had to use his barrier in this play. Quiche still holding on to both the summoners. Zekaros finally had to burn one of his own. The exhaust used to make sure there was no extra damage coming in from Jackie, making sure he mitigated that early Warfield's Core Hammer, which is doing a lot more damage than, say, an early game Cull ever could. Able to mitigate that somewhat and end up winning the trade for this Caitlyn. Zyra also up a level, makes this a little more interesting. Zeki does tick up to level 4. Quiche, though, going to get a nice amount of damage then. Griffin just explodes to the Piltover Peacemaker. Nice route set up there from Zakaros, and Quiche just had to nail the shot that was lined up for him.
Yeah, I mean, that's how this should go, right? Like, they should be winning this lane. The fact that he ends up going back for a Cole buy is just really odd. But a kill's a kill, so you'll take it. And now Panda Boy finally does his bot lane camps. So he's actually behind an entire quadrant in terms of like his camp timers,
Yeah,
which
his
is
bot side is just gonna be a
incredibly
respawn
bad.
behind.
Yeah, like it is actually horrible.
It is
Because
gonna ruin his
it would
XP.
have been fine. Like it would have been fine, right, if he just immediately did it after he got that bot lane scuttle. Because yes, while you have it delayed, it's like, I don't know, a quarter of the time of it being delayed, but instead recycles his top camps after going for top scuttle, and then just now finally clearing it. So definitely not the best look in terms of managing that. Of course, the level 3 gank paid off, which is the benefit.
And maybe the
Well,
Sahira's onto mid is
1.
also going to work, as that is a shockwave alongside everything else. Griffin and Panda Boy turning up to get rid of both this Nivea's first life and the second life. The egg turned straight into a scrambled version, as instead on the bot side, Jellyfish are going to look for the Drake that will take it and go for a retreat of their own. Nice plant there as well, making sure there is definitely no in for Panda Boy, as he is forced to base right next to that really annoying plant at his feet. So Drake traded for mid laner. We can debate whether that's worth it or not. Hunty probably not saying worth. No TP to get back to the wave. Either going to miss that out in mid, but overall Jellyfish, that's going to help them in their bid for scaling, right? They're looking to outscale this game. We're talking about the range advantage. We're talking about the fact that they probably will outscale if the game goes late. Having something like that, as that's some justice in the top side, not delivered. Ignite and Flash used, Loki underrated, hanging on to life by an absolute thread. But as we're talking about that early Drake, very useful for kind of delaying the scaling of the enemy team. That soul point, soul threat, much less of an issue when you already have that first Drake.
Also, just to provide some extra cope here for XSV, your Anivia dying doesn't prevent Anivia from becoming Anivia, right? Like, the Anivia threat is just always gonna be there, and especially going towards the Roa build, which pretty standard on Anivia, probably one of the most iconic build paths for the champ in general, but that will also alleviate like this death, assuming no more happen in the future. Still has flash available, so this next like gank coming through where Panda Boy does have Cataclysm, they're gonna try and chain it up with the Shockwave. Hunty can just flash that one and live it. Now, of course, you got a whole 5 minutes of needing to live the next ones, but at least you'll be able to prevent that. And again, Anivia is not really going to be put out of the game.
What do we try and turn things around though? As the other way goes in, Eastwag, a little bit of pressure put his way, but he's actually going to be able to turn it around. Great Stranglethorns though to turn it back around once more. Zakharos making sure his mid lane is going to get out somewhat safely as it's flash exchange, jungle for mid. Panda Boy's trying to get in there, but as you said before, that Zakharos, amazing knockup with the Stranglethorns, going to keep Hunty safe, still has to burn the flash to get out himself.
That knockup actually just straight up saves Hunty because Hunty flashes the Flag and Drag knockup, right? Which means, in theory, Panda Boy could have just flash ulted him and Hunty just dies again. Pretty low percent play happening in mid from the roam. I think trying to go for that kill is really not ideal. I think they need to kind of just chill, let the Anivias get pushed in, and then farm up. Because right now, this is a very vulnerable Anivia. No flash in particular. Also, Hunty ended up running out of mana on that play against Eastwag, and they don't find anything realistically mid, but they, at the very least, do get the flash out of Panda Boy, which is quite nice. And to rotate down here towards bot side, as the tower plates are falling.
Yeah, I mean, the bot side doing a whole lot better than anything in mid possibly could right now. Quiche, with that early kill in the 2v2, able to kind of work out the way of that first blood. Nice nice proxy hit for Loki, but just having looked at that bot side, it is huge right now. And they're also going to keep fighting as well. Jibber Jabber looking to make it even more, is going to Crescent Guard nice and early, make sure he keeps himself relatively healthy in case this play does extend, using his flash to get Leona's flash and heal, and that's another amazing Stranglethorns after the guaranteed CC gets the root, then the knockup. Zakharos, he's showing exactly why he wants to be playing this Zyra. The pressure he's had in the lane has been nice, but then the extra CC, extra damage he's giving over to Quiche, the extra kills he's now handing over to his bot laner, providing so much extra value right now just from the Zyra alone.
Yeah, I mean, so far it's been kind of a Zyra highlight reel. Granted, Jabber starts that off pretty awkwardly, tries to flash forward with 0 knockup against Jackie there, but play works out nonetheless as Jabber does fall away, and it's an excellent double root from Zarkaros. As the Zyra, I mean, to be honest, right, like, we both agreed, like, XSV just have a far better draft. Because his bot lane just can't function. But Shockwave, oh, nice stun actually from Hunty buffered there. So really well played.
That's a survival stun right there. If you don't land that, you're in a whole lot of danger, especially with eSwag having that flash advantage. Whole lot of pressure put onto Hunty, able to avoid it for the time being, as top lanes are doing some top laney things. Loki underrated after having his own proxy interrupted, has to then work it out himself. Black Venom on the other side is then just going to proxy himself because that's all he has to do at this phase of the game. If the Scion isn't looking to lane, then you don't have to look to lane either. Still up about 2 waves worth of CS to get a small little advantage here as the Garen could even look for a play onto Hunty, just drops an ignite as he runs past down to the Drake pit. You know what? Vibes. I'm here for it. I'm so here for that ignite. Keep him hit. Keep him there. Otherwise, Hunty just gets that base off and he looks to turn up for this Drake fight. Now, he kind of can't. And this may even just be a give angle for XSV because Loki underrated is still up in the top lane. He does have unstoppable onslaught if he really wants to get down and close, but it feels like it's just a little bit too late for XSV. That base cancel on mid may have actually got the Drake for them, even though it cost ignite.
I mean, the thing is, I think no matter what, they're going to get this Drake, because Hunty was taking a really bad base timer in general, because of overstaying. Although, no catch available. Oh, well, hold on. I might be lying.
There might be a catch come later. Solar Flare into a Stranglethorns, knock up onto a couple of them. Final boss look to escape once more. This bot lane is crushing them. Someone's got to tank that ace in the hole. The headshot nearly did tank him. You can't dodge those autos. Griffin taken incredibly low once more. As eSwag's going to roam down to the bot side, straight into vision. 3-man Shockwave is lovely. The exhaust onto Jackie is going to keep everyone alive for the time being, though Zakaros is barely hanging on to life. The Cataclysm is going to shut them down. As it's also the TP hit from the top lane quest, going to keep Black Venom well in the game. Hunty roamed down a little bit late to really get anything done, and it's going to be a 4-0, a massive play for final boss Hillbillys as they take a commanding position now in game 1, up about 2,000 gold, and it's basically all from that play.
Yeah, I mean, the Shockwave is just so deadly, all 3 of them just stacking on top of one another, and I unfortunately am going to say this, I don't like Jabber on the Xin Zhao. I feel like mechanically he just does not really understand how to play the Xin Zhao very well. Could just be a one-game thing, so I don't want to be like a one-game Andy on that analysis, but the general vibe I'm getting is mechanics on the Xin Zhao is not the best here, but it's actually Black Venom coming down from the top lane as well, kind of giving some extra support, finding a kill for himself there in the bot lane, and even though it's first tower over, it's still a pretty winning play overall for final boss. So I'm sure they'll take that. Also, getting that Drake does help. But again, right, we talked about the necessity of the gold lead needing to come through for their team, and right now they're going to need to explode it from this point forward for a while. Otherwise, the scaling issue could come back and bite them in the rear end, although plenty of time before that happens. Plenty of time, especially the Sinivia, who has 97 CS at 14 minutes.
A very good job by Fanboss, especially through their mid lane. eSwag doing a great job of slowing down Hunty's game. The pressure on the Sinivia has been constant, and it's kind of forced XSV to kind of rethink their plans. I need to go for that second Drake fight. I'm not sure they would have wanted to at any rate. As you were saying, the base time wasn't great in the first place. Your scaling dictates you don't need to go for that type of players. Loki underrated. Decides to try and make something work up here on the top side. Unstoppable onslaught forward. Black Venom turns into a helicopter, and he's going to be very safe indeed. The Stride Breaker gives him plenty of sustain, plenty of health, plenty of movement speed. Everything Garant could possibly want is what he has. Hunty is going to get a nice trade here, finally onto eSwag. Still, though, Catalyst of Eons versus the Blackfire Torch. I don't favor the Anivia in this, as Black Venom, this is a very bold proxy, my friend.
He's got backup Griffins there. Nice little ignite. Loki also just completely out of mana. They have full control of top jungle, but one thing I'm going to point out here is because this Caitlyn actually had Cole, she being basically the most greedy person on the map, she's keeping up in items with the solution, in fact, is actually up in gold right now based off items alone. So,
A
yeah,
thousand, all the plates.
you can see all the plate gold as well there. So, and then just being that extra bit greedy, they won't find the Zenith Blade there. But it will be the Herald, so they can open up the map themselves. Low-key underrated, overstaying for sure. Has also been sitting on this teleport for so long. In fact,
You can tell.
could have
The
very
Sign wants
easily
team fight.
just. I mean, I feel like he could just very easily come save this top tower, and then
He's
rotate
staying
down
out
to
of
this
vision.
play.
He wants to try and make something work. He's trying to get something going for his team. He knows that as a Sign, he can be the team fighter, but he just ends up wasting a whole lot of his own time and nothing else in the process. TP straight up to top afterwards, missing about a wave there, finally getting up there, using his top lane TP eventually, which is on quite a different timer from Black Venom, though, of course, Venom's is going to be once in every 7 minutes. The Scion's going to be about half of that. So expect Loki to be able to move around the map a whole lot more as a result. That may mean that we get to see more of the split push Garrett we just got to see. Great pressure on the side lane put
These
there
bats are
as
so
that's
poorly
not...
timed.
Wait, hold on. Firstly, Rift Herald, this is going to be great for final boss. Secondly, why is a serrated Dirk in Garen's inventory?
That's a question we'll figure out later. But yes, nice little serrated Dirk saying hello. I know.
Oh, Shockwave. Zakharos going to be saying goodbye. That was disgusting, E-Swag, as we're going to get Cataclysm in as well. Hunty's down half HP. Unstoppable Onslaught going to get blocked by Black Venom. He's just trying to keep the Sign out of the fight, turn it into a 44, because he knows that's where his team is strong, but he walks into the rest of them and just gets completely obliterated. You have to walk around the other way. There is just going to be a huge Decimated Smash now for the Sign. Loki flashing over the wall. Massive Q knock up onto a couple, and this is Keisha's fight from here on in. The effective range is just favoring the Caitlyn after Hex Optics gets that first kill. You get so much extra range, you get so much extra damage as well as a result of that range. And Jellyfish run over the fight from there on. They all want to turn up for this Drake fight, and it ends up being the Silent that runs things over. I think Black Venom had him contained. He just walked the wrong way around and died.
Yeah, I don't really understand the plan to run into them. Maybe thought you could get a kill, but yes, they do kill Zarkaros early, but Zarkaros, again, playing a champ that, much similar to like a Brand, can just kit dump you and then be happy that the kit dump happened. And that happened, right? Zarkaros dumps literally every ability and then dies. And they used quite a bit to, secure that kill. Although Hunty... Oh, this wall...
I mean, you have the egg, you may as well use it, I feel like, at some point, as we're going to get split push Garen going on while Zakharos is trying to 1v3. We see why that doesn't typically work as a squishy support player, using both sums and still getting popped in the process. Keith then walks up and gets an amazing Zenith Blade thrown on him by Griffin, though unfortunately that is also going to cost him his life, because Cleanse and Flash are both there for the Caitlyn to keep Quiche just about safe enough. Second item now on this Caitlyn as they look to try and really extend their own advantage. 4 kills, 2 assists, 2 items at this phase of the game. The Hex Optics plus a full Infinity Edge makes this Caitlyn very, very scary indeed. And we just saw the punishment there. Griffin hit a great Zenith play. They get both summoners out and they just get deleted.
Yeah, I was going to make a point about cleanse this game for Ku. Like, I don't really see the reason for it. In theory, if you're playing well enough, you just dodge Leona, and then the enemy team has literally nothing else you can cleanse besides Garen silence. And if Garen's is silencing you, there is a much bigger issue going on in the game.
Yeah, that means the Garen's already killed you, probably.
And while there has been like the conversation point of, yeah, Leona basically forces you into taking cleanse by yourself, you're playing Caitlyn. And that is actually incredible against everything in Leona's kit, because it basically outspeeds all of her abilities. So, just a questionable decision. Does work out there though, because Quiche does actually get Zenith bladed, I suppose, is past tense there.
Yeah, as we're going to go for another play, because why not? These mid-jungles just keep on fighting, and this time it definitely worked out in the Xin Zhao and Nivea's favor, flashing out the Cataclysm, and Panda Boy just could not get rid of those walls fast enough, knocked up repeatedly, stunned up as well by Hunty on his Q, and just can't get out of his own Thunderdome. Deleted in that 2v2, even with the Shockwave to help him out.
Yeah, Hunty also flashing previously. Flashed the Shockwave.
Zenith Blade, hold on. After the Solar Flare, that Zyra does not like this world anymore. And why is the Garen here? How is the Garen here? What is
happening?
why and what and why and how? It's going to be another death as well. Jackie just got kind of met there by 4 of them under his tier 1 after Venom arrived from somewhere to get a crazy flank on a summonless Caitlyn. Unfortunately, it was under the enemy tier 1, and typically that turret's this phase of the game can still do a decent amount of damage when you have no armor like this Garen does. I can't explain that one. I can only say the outcome is that Caitlyn has 2 more kills and now even scarier. And thank you, Pop Tart, for pointing out the fact that he still has that serrated Retrix in his inventory too. Is he going
right?
Ghostblade?
Has to be Yumus. Anyways,
Why?
So Black Venom goes for a potential kill onto Kush, right? Kush also caught off complete guard, but the Avengers were there. So again, kind of no chance. And final boss, that lead they got around that having an excellent bot lane just completely evaporating off of quite a few head-scratching back-to-back plays. Coming through from Black Venom and also the team fight in general mid. They should have just straight up taken their win out of killing Zarkaros in both those plays. In fact, they did not though, and continued to try and press their advantage and got punished for it. So some over-eagerness, but I think Final Boss also knows with their comp they do have to try and blow open the mid game. Because time definitely not in their favor. Caitlyn working towards her 3rd item, halfway there.
Hold on. Jabba Jabba goes just for a full send here onto Panda Boy, lands the Wind Come Lightning, and he's just going to see if he can take this even further. That is an unstoppable onslaught, and while the Garen might not be able to 1v4, Loki Underrated probably can at this phase of the game on a Scion. We can see him there trying to take damage and still failing at taking damage. Just stands in front of 4 of them, tanks it up for as long as possible, gains so much space for his team around this 3rd Drake that is spawning the Chemtech Rift. Very useful as well for that extra mobility. He's going to take a base, try and defend his top tier 2 while all this is happening, but he should have gained enough space. He's actually going to cancel his base while they look to take this Drake. The mid pressure is non-existent. There is no minion wave here for a second. Hunting clear this out without any real threat unless the Flash Cataclysm is going to be invested. The tier 1 is quite low, but the Drake's already taken. The play's already over, and please, Scion, go defend your top lane. It's already dead.
Yeah. I just don't get it. You have teleport. Like, just go top. He's sitting there also like a quarter HP, half health, so like in between that, like man, macro of all time happening for sure. But it is Drake and Soul Point. My friend. That's nice. It is Soul Point. And while they are getting gold onto the Garen, I truly don't think it matters. Because
it always matters what you spend your gold on, right? And when you spend your gold on Youmuu's Ghostblade, I don't think it matters as much as it could do otherwise.
It's the Moose Speed build from Darius. You remember that? The Youmuu's jungle Darius?
I do remember that.
Yeah.
However, this isn't Darius.
Hey, it's his Demacian counterpart. It's his Demacian
If we're going to do a Phantom Knot, so why are we not bidding it second? That's my question.
It's the Demacian counterpart in the Juggernaut update, okay? But actually, funnily enough, both of these champs, Garen and Scion, were a part of that same update. So, very funny. Nice to know league history, but Jabber...
I mean, someone has to match this Garen eventually in the side lane. He's going to just take the fight overall, flashing forward into Audacious Charge range. Goes Crescent Guard as well, smiting to slow him down further. The Anivia helps out, I guess, procs and electrocute to get the assist, but Jabber just decides he wants to fight, and he ends up fighting. Someone has to match this Garen, he says, and he's more than willing to oblige.
I mean, yeah, unfortunately, this Youmuu's gives you no chance. In fact, I think you have to build Garen in the way where, you're like building Phantom Dancer and things like that, because that's just the unfortunate nature of the champions like build path. Do you truly need the Youmuu's? Because it actually does not provide you with a whole lot, unfortunately. You have usually more than enough damage in your base kit that you don't need additional lethality. And you don't truly need additional move speed, because, the issue is this additional move speed going to get you on top of Caitlyn Zyra? The answer is probably no. So you might as well just stick to your normal build path. Build up by this Phantom Dancer, and then there's a world where Jabber can't just solo kill you in the side lane. On even items. So, I'm not necessarily that convinced about the Yumus, but...
I am with you. I don't think that it's... I think for this game in particular, I feel like Yomu is one of those items where it's like it's either your first item on you certain champions that you really like that moves be you thinking you every now and again Misfortune might pick it up. Jin sometimes likes that Yomu's, and then everyone else it's just kind of like, you know what? If the snowball's already rolling, let's make the snowball a bit bigger. And it feels like that's what Venom was trying to go for, but I don't think the snowball was ever really rolling in this game. He was 101 at some point, but that was well before he committed to this this Ghostblade. 3 deaths since then, still farming up very well. I'll give him credit for that one, but it's just not been as effective as I think we'd like the rest of this game to be. As we kind of have a look at the gold across the board here, across the Rift, and I mean, it's no real surprise who's the Gold King so far. Kush trying to take over Amy's place from the LCK. The Gold King, definitely this Caitlyn in game 1.
Yeah, I mean, she is just kind of minding her own business, top CS in the game. Even comparatively to the Garen, who has found a lot of solo time in the side lanes, with no answer whatsoever ahead of him in gold, or in CS. Obviously going to be ahead of him in gold as well. But yeah, this Caitlyn is about to get 100% crit chance. So if you are final boss, alarms should be sounding that it is do or die. This Drake essentially decides whether or not you probably should think about going next or talking about the next game, because if you cannot win this Drake, obviously it's Soul, so you already have that stacked against you, but your comp is going to get outscaled by this point, so you have to send everything here. You got 3 items on your Lucian. Zeal, yes, it is a nice little half item, but it's not enough of a lead for the Caitlyn in the inventory to like really dissuade you from fighting. So maybe they can pull out some magic here as teleport's coming through.
That's a very far TP for Loki underrated. He's headed down to the bot lane right now as the fight's going to kick off in mid. This is kind of a 4v5. If Final Boss are going to have an angle, this is the best they're going to find. And Black Venom has deleted the Caitlyn to start things off. The Unstoppable Onslaught is a little bit late, but he's finally going to turn up here on the Scion. The peel back from Griffin's just keep him at bay. And this is a massive fight. XSV have just kind of thrown away at their own will. Their top lane has just gone to the wrong lane for the fight. He's going to get killed eventually. It's going to take them a couple of years because at the end of the day, he is still a Scion. But they will get through him eventually in a 1 versus 4. And the Drake is also going to go final boss's way, and that is just inexplicable.
Why is my Scion TPing bot? Oh man, what a horrifying fight if you are XSV here.
To take that fight as well, after your Scion has gone to bot, to just be like happy to take that fight 4v5 is kind of crazy.
But also, right, like the big thing, and me being critical of Jabber, I think has started to wake up on the Xin Zhao a little bit more, but they're critically not understanding his role. Your role at this point is to peel your Caitlyn. So if that means you die in the fight because you had to press ult to try and kill Black Venom, so be it. Your Caitlyn is your only
If you die instead of the Caitlyn, you've done your job. But unfortunately,
yeah, he goes in 1v3 on their backline, who was causing no threat, by the way, to the Caitlyn. They're not even remotely close, but it is going to be a barren start here. Where
okay, so you know how we just got 4 for 0'd?
Oh boy.
What if we just try Baron? What if we turn up and see if they're here? See if they respect our Baron attempt as well. Black Venom is going to still be there. Nice shockwave onto 3. Only does damage to 2 because of the Crescent Guard, but they still are going to shut down E-Swag because he has no flash on the back end of it. Black Venom looking for this flag. Is there's a Cataclysm straight into the backline. Nice flash from Kush, but he's still going to get dunked on eventually by Panda Wave. Finally, the kill goes his way as Jabba Jabba is also caught on the top side there by the Garen. Demacia kills Ionia once more, and now Loki underrated is also in a whole lot of danger. He's finally going to get killed again on the side. He's not as tanky as maybe we thought, and Jackie is just going to keep on chunky. He's free hitting into the bird, into the egg, and it's just going to be an ace for 1. It's not even an ace for 2. They only got E-Swag. The first kill of the fight is the last one there for XSV. There's no way they can end off this, right?
I think
I mean, they're gonna try.
20
Caitlin's
seconds
up
on
in 13
Zinzao, 15 on
seconds.
Caitlyn, maybe.
Surely, no, they just don't have the damage, right? Like, Griffin's out of mana here.
They're stepping
Caitlin's
forward.
all right.
Stepping
All right,
forward.
here we go. Here we go.
This
Let's
is
see it.
ballsy, guys. This is ballsy, even by anyone's estimations. Kush is up first, as we talked about before. If you let the Garen get on top of him once more, then I think we're going to have some words. They're going to get one Nexus turret, they're going to get the other one incredibly low, but not quite low enough to get the kill onto it, as Jabba Jabba's just going to send it forward for the engage. And this is precisely why we said that this was not possible. You don't have the damage, you don't have the time with those respawn times. It's not late enough in the game for an ace to just mean death. And Kush going to happily repel that attack. I believe Jabba Jabba was the one that picked up that kill. Baron's still there if you really want to try and do something, but we saw how it went the first time round. XSV, I don't think they've realized that they're down 6,000 gold. They still think they're even in this game, basically because of like how these team fights are going. They have the range advantage. It feels like it can still be even. But this isn't the kind of game where you just start a Baron when you're down 6k gold. I don't think there's many games where you start Baron down 6k gold. But if you bait out top TP like that, then maybe it's worth it because Black Venom has just decided to go Graze Freeze in the next 60 seconds. TP's into 5 and ends up dead.
Well, Eastwag still has ult here, and that has been kind of their saving factor throughout the entirety of this game. Saw the 3-man ult initially.
Hunty. Gonna get cullinged on the bot side here. Nice try there from Jackie. Gonna get somewhat mitigated by plants, also by spacing this frozen, just this area of not allowed to go is so annoying. Panda Boy caught out on the outside, has a GA, but it's gonna get proc. That will mean the Baron is taken while he's respawning. Gonna get knocked up, deleted on that respawn. Congratulations, you have GA into a Caitlyn. Get trapped, get killed. Couple gonna go Kush's way as he gets the Leona too. First time round wasn't the cleanest for the Jellyfish, but second time round they flow perfectly into the play, and it works out. They get the Baron, they get a couple of kills to go alongside it, and they turned the gold lead from 6k into 2.
I mean, it'll be even if not ahead at the end of this Baron, but my question to Final Boss is, could you not have at least held down the game for this Baron? Like, do you truly believe the game is over if they get this Baron? You were down your top laner who somehow, by the way, with Yumu's is able to constantly find a kill onto Caitlyn because this Caitlyn is getting 0 health.
That's have 4 items.
Like, do you truly believe that you could not defend against this Baron? And the answer for me is I feel like they could have. I think turtling for them is probably the best case scenario here because all the zone control and things like that are much harder to utilize in a siege, right? Because the enemy team are the ones holding the ground, right? And, oh, here comes the root.
Let's just go for another fight anyway. Panda Boy going to get deleted in the Cataclysm once more. Feels like we see that more than once today. It's an attempt to try and just go for a little bit of a backdoor potentially here from Final Boss. They have a wave to play around. The longer they delay, the more interesting this becomes. The Drake is still spawning in 10 seconds. They're going to get a shutdown, a close down rather, onto Griffin. But then TPing in the wave to play with. They've got bases off. One Nexus turret going to fall. This feels like it was a Hail Mary. The next turret is going to go down. They have an open Nexus, but there was no way that was going to work. That was desperation to the extreme.
Guys, I'm telling you, this Baron is not ending the game. Now it very may well just end the game because now they're back even in gold. And this is gonna be guaranteed soul. Like, I am just at a loss for words here by the last, like, 10 minutes of this game.
Has it just been the 10? I thought it's been the 34.
No, it's, you know, for the most part, it's been okay. Okay, for the most part, it's been okay. But man, they are just so desperate. Also, I guess maybe their mentality here is like, they might feel like they're so much farther behind in gold than they were. Because they were up in gold. But that's kind of where my mind is they just think the game is literally over on that one Baron.
I feel like Gold League is fake this game.
Well, exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel
Every
like
Gold League has been fake this game. Like, the 6k lead getting beaten out by a random Baron start. You catch a couple people, and it turns into 0 once more. Chemtech Soul now acquired. Maybe that has a little bit more value, but it feels like Chemtech in this type of game has much less than it can do otherwise. The only real benefit is kind of Jabba Jabba. These only really utilize a Chemtech Soul. I feel like the objectives are just kind of fake this game. I don't know why we're so invested into everything right now. investing everything into the end as well, maybe a little bit too much. I feel everyone's maybe just a little bit dizzy around the rift. I might need to take something like vertigo pills or something. Maybe that's the answer.
Yeah, well, again, for whatever reason, Final Boss has decided that that Baron was just the end of the game for them. So, even though we are still on the Rift, by the way, like the game has not finished because of that Baron. Shocker. Even
Yeah, it
with
was going to be
them
difficult to.
getting fully aced at the base, at the enemy base, the game still didn't end. In fact, they got a single tier 2 tower with their Baron. That's it. That is all they got out of their Baron, was a single tier 2. So, again, I levied this question to Final Boss. Did you truly need to go, like, all in? Not once, but twice because of the Baron. I think the answer was no. I don't think they were really in a position that they need. Oh,
Is
no.
Lucky DC'd? Oh, this feels
No.
this feels bad.
Oh, that's so
I
tragic.
really don't want that to be the way the game ends. After a game that's been this chaotic,
Are they gonna pause?
it's been neither lawful nor neutral, but that feels evil. I'll be
Oh.
honest. Just
Oh, I reconnected.
on a DC, we don't have the capability to chrono break, but it feels like if ever we did, that would have been the time Jackie just caught out DC, and they don't call the pause in time. They don't even call the pause at all, and that might be enough to end the game for XSV Jellyfish. Nice route onto Panda Boy to delay the Cataclysm burst. Zakharos, the target, for reasons, as a track goes under the very dead-looking Jarvan. Panda Boy, no chance of escape after that. Flashing in forward now for Kush, as he's just going to tank up all the stuns that Griffin could possibly throw at him. Doesn't matter anymore. The wave did at least die to the towers, but it's now a 1v4 attempt for Jerky in the meantime, while the Garen is still trying to make his way back. He has made his way back, and he's already got a kill. Okay, hello. What are we doing up here already? Nice pop of the GA. Egg going to go down too. Please don't say we got an overstay both ways. This could be a little bit crazy.
Nah.
No wave. The Nexus turret doesn't take damage just yet. Gonna have to wait for that wave to get a little bit close to the backdoor protection, doing a whole lot. Jacky's going to dash forwards and into melee range of the Xin Zhao, who doesn't even have flash to close the distance, just going to get the kill. And that is the game. That feels so depressing as a way to end the game. A random DC caught on mid, and then it's over.
Well, yeah, does feel pretty bad. I won't lie. But at the same time, they kind of put themselves in that position where that one single death. Because even if we're looking at it that there wasn't a DC, right, all it would have taken is one mistake regardless, and they just lose the game, right? And they're the sole reason why that even got to that point in the first place, because they oversent not once, but twice because of Baron that was fake. Right? Like,
Yeah.
even though they kind of oversent and died on the initial Baron take, right? That's fine. It's when they then feel so desperate in this game to go for this miraculous backdoor, which was never going to work against Baron recalls in the first place, let's be honest. Like, it is very sad, right? Because I do feel like they could have found a good fight somehow, because
They were
to give
finding
credit
them.
where credit is due, XSV were not fighting well at all, and they were getting completely dismantled and picked apart by Final Boss throughout that game multiple times in fights, even though XSV had a lead in the scaling comp, right? Like, they had the lead initially, and then that kind of got completely blown up by Final Boss. So, Final Boss definitely finding some decent moments, especially in a game where they get outscaled in the later stages of the game. So we might be looking at a closer series today, because barring that DC, yes, very depressing way to lose. I do still think they're going to ultimately lead out in that game. I just don't see a world where they're winning that. But XSV, there was a lot of things going wrong that they're going to need to fix, because we're talking about an outscaling comp who, in the late game, completely got blown up. And then they got, bailed out miraculously by a couple mistakes and then a DC, right? So, very close game. XSV coming through to the better end of this game. Certainly a game of all time. A lot of question marks going forward, but that's okay. Sometimes question marks are fun for us as viewers and casters. But I'd imagine if you're the teams, definitely not something you want to get smoothed out with. So back to the drawing boards for both teams. Hopefully they come back better swinging in this next game. And we avoid some of the chaos that happened in that last game.
Yeah, well, we'll see if they're able to bounce back from that one. It was a little bit messy from both sides. I'm sure we would all agree. We're going to take a short little break while we recuperate and we try and work out how the hell we got there. It was 36 minutes of chaos, and then the 37th was marked by that DC. We'll see if Final Boss are able to turn things around as we get ready for game 2, or if Jellyfish can be able to take this one 2-0, move up to now 3-0 potentially at the end of week 3. A great start to be able to dive no matter what from there. We'll see if they're able to continue that, or if Final Boss going to be able to put the brakes on after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the series between Final Boss Hillbillys and XSV Jellyfish Jammers. We are just getting ready for the Game 2 draft, and it is already shaping up to be pretty interesting. Let's not forget what has occurred in our Fearless. That's why we have Kate hidden under a Wukong and Oriana not there at all. We move forward from that Game 1 travesty and have a look forward instead to Game 2. Here's we're getting a Rise first picked. Syndra as the counter is not maybe what I was expecting, but I like the idea here after Nivea's banned out due to Fearless. But I wouldn't have been shocked if we saw a Cassio. The Syndra instead seems a little bit out there.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. Everything we've seen so far has been out there. Okay,
True
at least Syndra is a mid laner that is playable. And yeah, Wukong is going to be Caitlyn.
We
so
knew this was
yes,
gonna happen, didn't we?
yeah.
We knew this
I was literally about to
jams.
mention, like, what are you gonna do now that Wukong is gone?
I mean, it makes Game 3 easier
Because of
if we
Caitlyn,
get there.
But yeah, it would fix a lot of things. But Caitlyn will be Wukong if this locks in. So that's gonna be Wukong. Shocker, everyone, shocker. But it's really important, by the way, that you are selecting the correct champions. The amount of issues in that last draft was genuinely insane. Yes, I can understand not making the top, like one mistake or, you know, whatever. That's fine. But both teams having mistakes, and there were 3 total mistakes on the entire draft. Pretty insane stuff. So please make sure for the teams that are paying attention.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think one was maybe caused by the other with Caitlyn Wukong shenanigans that have hopefully been resolved by this point. And if they haven't, then, well, bad things may be occurring.
Maybe.
As Seraphine has been let through. This was something that was let through in its entirety in Game 1. No one fancied going towards an Ashe Seraphine. This is something that Jackie likes to play after he likes to play Lucian. So I feel like Ashe, the natural synergy here for Final Boss. And they've already started to shape up with a very different looking comp from what we saw from the Game 1.
Yep, Ashe Seraphine here. Okay. Oh, Lord have mercy. Guys,
Why, though?
Is Skarner getting banned? I just have to ask. Is that champ getting banned? Yes or no?
Is Ashe getting banned? Yes.
Yes. Like, she 100% is getting banned this game. Like, what are you going to play? Cinna Seraphine? Smolder Seraphine? I think... Smolder's banned. So, like... I'm at a loss for words. Okay.
Well, look.
This is not that bad. Like,
this is what we're missing from Game 1.
Yeah. You know, Breath of Life will help tremendously here. Of course, caveat is, if you get hit by the CC, you can't pressure ult. So, positioning, kind of on you, this game. But if you're smart, please, like, guys, I promise, please, just ban 80 carries. Just ban 80 carries. Anything that can pair with Seraphine. Please.
Yeah.
Ban like Ezreal, ban like just you don't care about this Malphite, I promise.
Yeah.
You don't.
Let's not forget the Caitlyn is a Wukong. That's still catching me off guard. Thankfully, everyone else has the overlay to say Wukong. I keep need to look there. Yeah, Malphite, one of the champions you could get rid of. Do they not believe in Jackie's Ashe? Is this the angle they're looking at? I would struggle to understand that angle unless they want to take it away on 4 with Ashe Melio. I mean, that could have been a play if you really want Ashe Melio. I don't hate it, especially since that Lucian pairing isn't there anymore. Melio basically just taken as a counter to Skarner more than anything else. That Breath of Life able to mitigate everything from that Impale, as he's saying, unless the Melio does get caught themselves. So I don't hate it here, as the time will eventually run out and that Ashe will be banned away anyway. Now that we're looking at this, what do XSV want to be taking out on the bot side?
Well, let's think of some pairings here with Melio. You have like Aphelios, which I don't think is in a decent spot right now, but you could play it. Jinx, I think, is actually in a phenomenal position. I think anything they're going to try and pair with the Seraphine with no Ashe, I think Jinx in theory should do pretty well into. So, cannot believe I'm saying this as the chain hater. Okay, please. Alright, it's going to be Vayne.
Yeah, just go Vayne.
Just simply go Vayne, which means we needed that Malphite ban for sure because we weren't going to be able to kill tanks this game, ever.
Oh, no. I mean, no chance, right? You need a tank killer to get rid of the Skarner. Why would you ever allow another tank to be in there when you have true damage?
Yeah, true. And max health damage, by the way. So
Yeah.
yeah, how it.
It wouldn't be possible, especially with the armor shred that you have from a Wukong as well. It would not be possible to get through these tanks, I'm sure. As we're gonna head further into the second rotation of picks, then Gangplank gonna be taken as a blind top laner in 2026. Your eyes are not
I'm here
deceiving you.
for it. I'm here for it. If you can play it, you might as well. Deathfire Touch on this champ is not fair.
True that.
So you might as
That's
well
why touch
play
isn't fair on many people.
Yes, but if you can use it to very grave effect, you might as well get as much usage out of it as you can. But I mean, yeah, Sivir Seraphine's all right here, although kind of self counter pick. Literally nothing. Sivir kind of just gets run down by Vayne. Actually, one of Sivir's earliest counters was the Vayne. So all the way back.
Either.
All the way back.
Anti-synergy here for the Sivir Seraphine feels like sustain and stay alive as opposed to put the pressure back on. I've seen a lot of Seraphine lanes want to do themselves. XSV then onto their final pick, taking into the Gangplank. Whole bunch of options at their disposal. They're going to go with a Voidborn monster to round out their draft. The Cho'Gath taken into it, and I feel like that's an option. I don't know where to look first in this one. Do you have anywhere in particular that's grabbing your attention? Because I'm kind of struggling to narrow it down to like one thing.
I mean, we might as well look bot, because in theory this Vayne should just have the freest lane of her life. Of all time. I'm very curious to, speaking of on the Vayne, what the build path choice is going to be. If we see like the Bork on hit like nonsense, there was going to be some words said on cast about that. But I won't spoil that until we get into the game, because of course it's going to depend what happens. So plenty of possibilities to talk about Vayne itemization. That being said, Cho'Gath into Gangplank, certainly a choice, although if you are good at Cho'Gath, this actually can be Cho'Gath favored. You just need to be great at killing barrels, and thanks to an auto attack reset with your E, you actually can do that. Sometimes effectively, but it is the mini game with GP, who has the barrel timings, right? If you had the barrel timings as the person playing into GP, usually you tend to fare pretty well until late game, where he just hides in a bush and one-shots you anyway. So, but for a while, right, also GP kind of being the scaling top laner, and with Hail of Blades' changes, Cho'Gath's early game is actually pretty impressive. So if this is going to be Hail of Blades top for Cho'Gath, which I'm hoping that it is, you can pressure out this GP pretty heavily, in my opinion. And yeah. I don't want to look at mid lane, because in theory is just going to be them scaling back and forth. Maybe Ryze hits a couple roams to try and do something across the map while Syndra's continue farming. I do struggle to see how Skarner gets value this game. You got Milio Skew, who's going to kick you out of pen. You have Scatter the Weak, that's going to kick you out of pen. You have Condemn. You have Cyclone to disrupt it. Like, there's just endless possibilities, and how Skarner even finds an in. But if it's anything like last game, much like the Garen finding an in, I'm sure we'll see plenty of Skarner engages. So
if it's anything like last game, then the hands go in the air. Okay, the hands go in the air, because more cinema is only ever a good thing. Though we are going to have to wait a little while for that cinema to come around for us all. The players trying to get the draft started, but they can't quite get it going any clients. So we're going to be a little bit lengthier on this pause we would normally, but if you feast your eyes on the draft, get locked in your head, as we are going to take a short little break, maybe not a short little break, maybe a slightly longer little break, as we get ready for Game 2. We'll be back in a few. Welcome everyone back onto the Rift for Game 2 in the Final Boss vs XSV series. There are some other things after the Final Boss and the XSV, but there are a bunch of words that mean not very much as far as I am aware. As we are looking into game number 2, we have some Deathfire touching, we have some Hail of Blading. Which do we like more?
Well, you know, I counted on Hail of Blades for Cho'Gath.
Mhm.
And I think the early game potential with that rune is just insane. But we actually have it on Vayne. Which very much not a fan of. Because I think like the extended okay, yep, Hail of Blades
That's a
first, by the way.
trade. Now, I feel like that was a trade that we didn't need to take, and it could have gone better, is how I'm going to phrase that one. Typically, that's like the accepted euphemism for when it went really badly, right? Is like it could have gone better. Flash and Barrier burnt by
You're already
Kush.
backing. Like, surely we stay in XP range, use both pots. Like, I mean,
What if we used one pot, stayed outside of XP range, and suffered? Because that sounds like way more fun.
I mean. Anyways, so usually with Halo Blades, right, the benefit to it is you get a nice short trade with it.
Mm-hmm.
But we lost the lethal tempo anyways.
Yeah, in a short trade.
In a short trade.
Yeah, I mean, Seraphine, right?
That's
Seraphine
that's because you know did in fact base tank Griffin's like double Q.
Mm-hmm.
Whilst we had tumble leveled, definitely did not help.
He tumbled into it, which it kind of makes it difficult
also
to dodge
you're
at that
playing
point.
Milio, so Milio very not great level 1 as it turns out.
Shocker.
So you kind of do just get outpaced. So very shocking early game trade there coming through from
Mm.
Koosh. But somehow, some way, instead of punishing this bot lane, they're gonna take a reset and buy Cull because
We like Cull.
that is just the special in the series is you're winning your bot lane. Nah, you gotta reset, completely kill all of tempo towards the lane you had.
But what if the jungler came level 3 again and I didn't get to base my support died or something I need to take this base for Cull, guys.
At least it's Sivir, right? Like at least there's that. But man, we just hate pressing leads. Like you could maybe make an argument if your jungler's pathing top this game, but Panda Boy was right there.
Mm-hmm.
So
He was on his Krugs.
So like it makes even less sense.
I mean, somehow they managed to re-establish this like bot push as well. Koosh not matching that base. Feels like Jacky's kind of got away with that one. The Jabba might be looking for something back air in mid. He's going to respect it. Still going to get a first strike thrown at him, courtesy of Hunty as he transitions up to the top side. He'll take the top crab in exchange for what happened earlier on with Panda Boy taking the bot. But it does mean that Cho'Gath's going to get back onto the Rift a whole lot faster. The double Ruby Crystal into nothing purchased yet for this Wukong. Good tempo early game so far for Panda Boy, but he's not able to really press that advantage anywhere. It's kind of been the early game notice that we're not be able to press our advantages. Flashing, ghosting forwards on eSwag.
Oh shit.
Oh, buddy.
Just take the flash. Like, we are just so allergic to taking wins. It'd be all diamond, please. Just take the win. Eastwag will go to first blood to Hunty, who realistically doesn't need any kills in this lane to just be chill.
Yeah, well, now he's very chill.
Yeah, now he's very chill indeed. And also, I think interestingly enough about like the bot lane thing is, I think you're kind of okay with this Vayne not being able to back right now because all Jackie got to buy was a Cull.
Mm-hmm.
So, in theory here, when Kush should be able to recall, which I'm hoping Jabber comes bot lane and helps their bot lane, because unfortunately Sivir's always going to have push in this lane, because Vayne, wave clear?
Doesn't exist yet. It's going to take a while.
And
Boomerang Blade also absolutely crushing. I mean, Kush back down to 200 HP. He's forced into another pretty far away retreat. Wonder what this first base is going to tell us about where he's building in terms of his items.
Oh
now,
my God,
we've had some discussions. We've had some discussions about potential build paths for this Vayne, but I feel like if there's anything you want right now, it's even more healing than a Cozy Campfire provides, because it feels like sustain, it's not enough right now. I mean, wave clear sounds great for Koosh. I think Shiv is a nice shout there from chat. I don't hate it. I think
I hate it.
Also,
I think Shiv is horrible. Because yes, because consider this way, right?
I think you leave Amp Scepter.
So much potential of your like damage building it. And you're gonna get out wave cleared even with it. Nice kick.
Nice mega fire kick as they're just going for the dive. Oh my god, Koosh is incredibly low. Late barrier, very late barrier. One more auto from Panda Boy at any point in the near future. There it goes.
Flash, right?
Freebie still has flash available as well. It must be coming up soon. Maybe not available just yet. Maybe it's just coming off cooldown as we speak. But it's still going to be a 1-for-1. As Panda Boy did have to flash in and has no chance of escape, especially with mids roaming down as they were. eSwag not really able to match on the same side as Hunty. And that's actually kind of big for the Syndra to be able to pick up yet another assist. Gets a kill over to Jabba as well. As the Scats of the Week will go slightly wide. And, okay, so you know how we're talking about like sustain and things? What about a straight duck?
Like,
don't we just love building serrated duck on champions that don't need a serrated duck? What about just using a cyclone onto mid? Because
no. Okay, thank you.
Flash Q4 from Koosh is going to finish things off. eSwag with no flash on the previous side, no ghost from the play on mid is going to get caught. Koosh deciding that mid lane is the lane to open because Hunty's still holding down bot. Lane quest be damned. It's my mid lane now. Took a cyclone to get it there. Took also the flash from Koosh, but they get the kill in the end, and maybe the Vayne's back into things? Maybe?
Literally zero reason, by the way.
Are they not swapping this back?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Why is Hunty going bot?
Someone's got to catch this wave. Vayne's on a super late recall. So
I feel like you are maybe better with how lane quests are to drop this wave bot. Because now you are throwing away any potential lead that Syndra had, unless you can somehow get a random kill on to Jackie, which seems very difficult with a Sivir who has a spell shield and also a Seraphine alongside. I'm questioning so many things. He is rushing Hubris.
to be fair, since neither mid laner has the upgraded boot, like has tier 2 boots, getting lane quest actually doesn't mean as much for mid lane anymore, although they're gonna contest this dragon way late.
Yeah, I mean, we have so many different topics of conversation to really delve into here. The most important one right now is the fact that is a huge impale. Jackie unable to do any damage from outside of the pit, but he'd have to flash over the wall to get there. Kush also putting in a whole lot of work in his final hour. Unfortunately, only able to go 1-for-1 so far. Jungle exchanges for jungle. Jackie still trying to walk forward here with less than 100 HP. eSwag realizing how dangerous that was after getting a weak scattered at him. Decides to go basing, but that's a base on a ward, my friend. And despite your spell shield, Hunty's going to go flashing, get rooted, and very nearly die himself. It's going to put swag back, and I need a break.
My god, what is happening? What is happening? Honestly, I think final boss hard win this fight if Griffin doesn't flash over the wall at full HP. But gets super scared, and there's just not really enough of the Seraphine supporting to be done over the wall. So it kind of sells the play a little bit, but it's hubris by here for Kush, who now has 2 kills.
That's pretty
so
early.
I guess we'll see. We'll see if this pays off, but it is going to take an absolute nosedive later. And also, again, more conversation about like Shiv and buying like a Vamp Scepter for sustain. Realistically, the Vayne can sustain in the lane if the Vayne just simply doesn't eat every skill shot known to mankind, and it's very easy to do because Tumble is right there. On top, she's still going to get out wave cleared if she pulls Shiv, so that literally won't help. It just kills her damage. So, realistically, just not a lot of great choices, and opts for the hubris. So we'll see again. Like I said, if it will pay off. I think if you're gonna go for a high damage build, the Kraken build is literally right there in your face. To go, you get crit chance, you get ultimate haste as well.
You don't get crit from Kraken anymore, unfortunately.
No,
I'm gonna have to concentrate that one.
No, I'm getting there. Your second item, which is Fiend Hunter bolts, does give you crits.
True.
And the ultimate haste. So it is a crit build. You do build crit damage. So you build IE as well in that build.
Panda Boy,
and
what
you do a lot at burst. A lot of burst. So
I feel like Panda Boy may have been spotted getting here. I'm looking at the vision on bot side here for XSV. Is they're also trying to make a play on mid. eSwag going to flash away from a flash cyclone from Jabba Jabba. There's no way this crab got in here without being spotted. The question is, how long is he going to stick around for? And it turns out just long enough is the correct answer. The Breath of Life is very inappropriately named, as Zakaros unable to save his ADC this time round. No barrier even expended. Kush just gets deleted so fast, he can't even press it. And Panda Boy, look at that bot vision is still there, by the way. He was definitely spotted on that lane gank. And yet it's just a question of, is he still here? Is he still here? I don't think he is. Oh, wait, I just died. Nice combo from Griffin and Panda Boy, grouping up once more to get yet more pressure onto this Vayne. And I've had a look at this build as we're going to carry on the play, because apparently Zakaros is just kind of dead. Jabba Jabba clone under the turret. This build has been called Lethality Snowball. Now, when was the last time you saw someone snowball from 69 CS at 11 minutes?
Well, usually when they have like 8 kills. So, and their hubris has like 40 stacks.
Is 2 enough?
No, definitely not. Especially because Panda Boy is very willing to just sit there for 8 minutes bot lane. Also, interestingly enough, if, XSV's bot lane just looked at the minion wave, they would have known that it was going to push into them, so they had literally no reason to try and play that wave anyways. Because they could have just sat under tower and waited, because the wave was guaranteed going to shove into them, no matter what. Unfortunately, they don't do that, though. And I guess fortunately here for Final Boss, the patience does pay off, actually, pretty big time from Panda Boy. So good job on being patient there. And got to talk about this top matchup that has actually been off screen for a majority of the game.
Top lane, thanks.
Usually Cho'Gath does get the better of the GP, but GP actually up in CS. So kind of just chilling right now. The early game presence from the Hillbillys not really showing face, unfortunately, here in this game for Low-Key, but
Why is Griffin walking up and Jackie isn't? What is happening in bot side? Guys, can we do things together? Why is that just a free kill on the Seraphine? Okay, you got the turret for it, but I'm starting to feel like that may not be worth it. Panda Boy turns up into the bot side. Jabba Jabba's not even close. He's on his Raptor cap right now on the top. He can't even get near this one. This is also going to be an ultimate in from the Gangplank to try and get as much damage onto Kush as possible. Another late barrier, another attempt at salvation, but the appeal goes wide, and now it's just Jackie who has to kill Hunty, who's turned up into the middle of all of it. There's a random TP flanking Cho'Gath. Thank you for the free stack, says Loki underrated. There it goes. A second kill onto Panda Boy as well. He flashes over the wall back to safety, though I feel like he was already pretty safe because there were 2 players alive and his friends were turning up as well. Flashing at 2,000 HP over the wall when you're already safe doesn't feel great, but he can at least get to the Dragon Pit a little bit faster after that double kill.
oh man. Oh. Well, it's
Where do
Drake.
you want to start? Where do you want to start with that one?
Let's start about Griffin walking up.
Okay.
So much like last game, except reverse teams, where Zarkaros walks forward on the Zyra by himself with his 80 carry in base, Griffin does the exact same thing this game, except, you know, Jackie was actually in the river doing something. Not sure
That
what
ward
that
wasn't
something
even,
was.
it's not even like he was placing a ward, because the ward that was in the marsh it was there before.
Yeah. So just
kind of
walking into the river for fun. Whatever the reason, decides to walk into river. So Griffin dies, okay? And then we go for the return gank onto Kush, who does not fall because a lot of things went wrong. We missed our Q throw as Skarner, and then we hesitated on just using our ultimate for so long and ended up missing it against Kush. So Kush gets to walk away.
He actually lived that, which is kind of crazy.
Like I cannot believe that this Vayne got to live there. And then of course the just counter collapse from XSV ends up paying off. But an event of all time surely happened in this game at 14 minutes. Does net XSV their first dragon, so that's pretty nice. And now Eastwag finding out the burst potential from Cho'Gath.
Now, he does have Feast, and I was a little bit scared he was going to continue that play. Already using the Protobot makes it a little bit difficult to continue it. He's just going to Feast a cannon instead. Eastwag really has to respect the damage that this Cho'Gath has, even though he started to build into a bit of the tankier side. Going armor, he's still very, very dangerous. We're going to get another Flash Cyclone. I feel like I'm getting deja vu. A Flash Cyclone that gets absolutely nothing done in the mid lane. Griffin going to flash in a separate play as another bullet range is going to fly in over the top from the Gangplank. Minimal value found there while he's trying to split onto this bot lane tier 2, which is getting a whole lot more value dealt. Hunty's going to try and respond at some point. He's going to go around the area, but he's kind of getting zoned out right now by this Gangplank. Panda Boy's turning up as well, looking for a dash. Can't quite find this Melio who's going to hop away out to relative safety. That bot wave, though, completely just crashing under the turret. No catch there from XSV. Black Venom is doing some good stuff on this Gangplank right now. If these ultimates just maybe a little bit closer in tune, I feel like he could have a whole lot more impact.
Man, there's been 2 moments in this game where the only thing I could say was no. The first one was the condemn in mid against Eastwag, who did eventually get killed. And then the second no, which was Kush getting out at 1 HP because of a plethora of micro errors. But man, a very fun game to cast so far. Final boss should, in theory, be in a much better position than they actually are. The fact that this Vayne is constantly able to find kills just due to a plethora of errors and misjudgments from Final Boss has made things a bit more complicated for them than I think they would appreciate or enjoy to be in. But Sivir continues to collect these mid waves happily. as Vayne is never catching up in CS at this rate, so that's pretty nice. But it will be Herald. Doesn't mean the gold won't go in her favor, as that one will get feasted up here for the Cho'Gath.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Cho'Gath's still top. And there's no response right now. He's been here for a while. Right? He's not made a secret of the fact that he just intends to eventually kill this bot lane tier 2, which is getting lower and lower by the second. His split push right now on the gangplank feels very difficult for XSV to really come back into for whatever reason. They're keeping these lanes the way they are. They keep wanting the Cho'Gath into the Rise. I guess it's working out okay so far for Loki Underrated, but Hunty's really feeling the pain after having such a fine lane phase into this Rise. You know, he was up a good amount. It feels like both mid lanes are just being thrown under the bus right now.
Yeah. Big thing, though, as well, is this kind of happened last game for XSV, where low-key kind of just was not macroing literally at all. So, has been that way. So that's
at least he tries TP to fights.
Hey,
I know some top
true.
laners who wouldn't try. That's all I have to say.
That is true. That is true. Okay, even if he teleports bot lane. Okay,
he may have gone to the wrong lane, but it's the rest of the map from top lane. Like it's difficult to work out where it is.
He does try. He does try. All right, he does try. Oh, okay, well, this is better.
Wait, Griffin is deleted. What a disgusting showcase, rather, of the unleashed power Hunty. Where has that come from? The one item spike I did not realize was that powerful. Honest, Syndra, just see you later, Seraphine. Try again next time, I guess. Massive way into this fight now, as that's a Flash Impale going to be flashed in response by Zakiros. Doesn't fancy getting suppressed under his tier 1. Very early rotation down to this Drake. Bear in mind, numbers advantage has been claimed for final boss. XSV, claimed by XSV rather. They just all move down to the Drake and they abandon what's happening in mid, and then they also abandon the Drake.
Well, they do get the Drake, inevitably.
I mean, yeah, but
but it is super late, so yeah, not really sure. I mean, they did kind of just tell their mid team to defend mid, and if you die, you die, and then they just decided, no, we don't want you to die. And then they still figured it out by themselves.
Eswag, you are walking out very, very boldly, my friend. That is dangerous levels of Rise walking forward.
Also, something I appreciate from Black Venom is he's literally avoiding Cho'Gath the entire match. He refuses. Oh!
Should we just dive to tier 1 and see what happens? I mean, we already used Rift Tower, right? Let's just see what happens if we dive to tier 1. I mean, Griffin can't really play the game right now. Every time he's spotted by XSV, he is just getting out of here on the spot. At least got to press heal this time before he died. The Flash still waiting to come off cooldown. Didn't really have much of a chance there, as this gold lead is minuscule, flipping back and forth based off the waves in the turret that was just taken in the top side. The map slowly starting to open up a little bit, but that tier 1 mid still holding strong final boss. Kind of is the bastion to everything they're trying to play around right now, and the fact they're holding on to it means that players like that have limited value for XSV, while the side lane pressure is still there for final boss.
Yeah, but it has been GP just chipping away at these towers, avoiding this Cho'Gath essentially the entire match, as I mentioned. And kind of silently scaling up. Literally uncontested. There has literally not been a single threat to his life the entire match. So I'm sure this is a very happy GP. We got IE completed here on Sivir. And in fact, it is the Fiend Thunderbolt. So, I mean, this literally could have just been the Kraken build. It does literally more damage, but that's fine.
I mean, it also could have been a different champion. I'm going to throw that out there before we hop too much on about this one.
That is true. It could have been a different champion, but they knew Sivir was going to be picked. So,
I mean, they could have picked the Sivir. That's something they could have done. Sivir, Melio.
Nah, never punished. Never punished.
Yeah, well, we'll move on from that one. Kushal will just have to exist in this kind of permanent 50 to 60 CS deficit unless he can try and claw things back, or maybe things get a little bit worse, and that's how it becomes unpermanent. Looking to still make this play onto mid. The tier 1 looks very tasty, but it doesn't really feel possible. I mean, you're up against Sivir wave clear. It's so difficult. You're still struggling to match it, even with your Syndra dropping a side wave in its entirety. Eswag walking into dangerous ground, though. Level 12 versus level 13 Wukong, hiding on a bush. Eastwag gonna get slowed down once more by the smite. Second proc of the Cyclone. You cannot robot when you're stunned. The flash gets nothing as well. Eastwag just basically taken out in a 1v1 there, as an Impale is going to be flashed away from Nice Flash by Low Key. Keeps him alive on the Cho'Gath.
I mean, there's just
We could have just carried on split pushing. They were dropping sides.
there's just no reason for him to walk that way either. Like, if he is gonna come down, like come to mid, like he has to respect his vision. And as it turns out, his team is lacking a lot of that right now, especially on the top side of the map. And he just doesn't respect it at all. And now we have a little skirmish in the jungle.
Yeah, jungler's doing some jungling things. Panda going to pick up a rock because that's just another jungly thing to be doing. Going to get screamed at, and that means that he's a little bit too scared to be able to do anything else. Nice, use the Breath of Life as well to try and keep Kush alive. He gets an auto, the final auto required into Jackie just in time. A second kill just walking around the map right now. Which team is playing without their mid-tier 1 up? Because I feel like XSV are making some random plays happen around the map where the mid-tier 1 should be able to deny all of these plays happening around the map. Yeah, they're the team without their mid-tier 1. I'm very confused.
Oh, you know
Has
what?
gold finished already? Hello, Raid.
You know what would have secured some of those kills? The GP ultimate, which is global. That's on cooldown, but unfortunately was not used. That would have guaranteed a kill, because that would have done a lot of damage in that small choke. Because getting out of it would not have been easy, but not utilized.
He doesn't want to feel like a classless player, you know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I hate helping my teammates. I hate securing kills.
It feels a little bit cheap sometimes, you know? The earlier ones where it's like, oh, I'm going to help out my team, but it's not quite enough to get the kill. I don't. He doesn't feel guilty about that one, but where it's like, I don't want to get fed off that. I'm getting fed off my side lane thing. I don't want to have to
He's
mix
down
my...
CS. He's been in the side lanes the whole game. And he's down CS.
Yeah.
So...
Well, yeah.
It's literally just no excuse, but should have ulted there. And like the best GP players in the world, right? The biggest thing is like when to utilize your ult, because it is on such a long cooldown. That moment right there, you want to utilize your ultimates on like those 50-50, the close ones, the ones where your ult is gonna, turn it around. And that would have been the perfect moment. But not utilized. We'll at least have it for the strike fight, as it will be sole point here for XSV should they claim it.
Yeah, 3 after spike as well for the Cho'Gath as he's looking to teleport into things. That HP shield going to be absolutely huge as he turns up. He looks like a second dragon almost. Nice knock up on the Rapture. Panda Boy going to get saved somewhat by the Encore, but still gets chomped on and deleted. The clone is the only thing taken away in exchange. Jabba Jabba's barely hanging onto life. The Cannon Barrage is going to get a lot of damage, but not quite the kill, as you're pointing out. Not there on these breakpoints for the Gangplank. And this Cho'Gath is so incredibly strong. I mean, both of them been side laning. The mid laners have been absolutely chucked under the bus. That has been one of the more accurate things I've ever said. I mean, Eastwag's level 13 on the rise. These top laners, they're dominating the Rift, but one of them a whole lot more than the other.
Yeah, I mean, Cho'Gath is just so strong. He has eaten Panda Boy in like the last 3 plays, by the way. Like,
can we get a stack check on this Cho'Gath?
Like probably.
I don't
often
answer a stat check on a Cho'Gath, but I am interested.
Surely it's like 10. Yeah,
it is 10.
Holy. But regardless, pretty big Cho'Gath, and Sivir's just not there yet in terms of being able to get through it. The Rise also struggling in CS right now. As chucked under the bus might even be an understatement for these mid laners, because unfortunately, Hunty has been mid for basically the entire game.
Both of them have.
In this mid lane, tier 1 has yet to fall.
It feels like everyone's playing around the mid-tier 1 right now. Final Boss are using so many resources to keep it alive, and XSV are using so many resources to try and take it down. The side lanes are just getting completely ignored. It feels like this game's been played on 2 lanes instead of 3. And it's the mid laners that are the ones that are naturally going to struggle as a result, right? The top lane is much more focused on the side lane style. The Cho'Gath and Gangplank meeting up for once, finally, in the bot lane. I'll see if anything happens down there. But the top lane, for that whole time, the whole final 3 minutes, finally is going to get picked up. But all around this Drake, the before and the after, it's just been completely ignored. Now, Jackie is way too far forward on that mid wave, trying to catch outside of turret range to stop the crystalline overgrowth from getting popped. Instead, he's the one that gets popped, and now it's Eastwag that may actually be able to pick up a wave when he turns up to mid.
Yeah, surely they get mid tier 1 or even Baron here and both. It should be both, but with how this series has gone so far, you can never be too sure.
Yeah, we don't go by shoulds at this point. Should is not a word in the dictionary.
We're
Cannon Barrage
using-
very early into the Baron. It's going to do more leashing than damage. It's going to be a Roam Warp onto mid. That is still a very strong Cho'Gath. I'm not sure even your Rise has enough damage, especially with Sivir not there. That Impale landed, though, and maybe we can turn things around unless Hunty has a disgusting Scatter the Weak once more, and it feels like that is just yet more crab cakes eaten by a Cho'Gath. I'm starting to feel slightly bad for Panda Boy. He has 6 deaths. I don't know how many of them it's this feast, but I mean, the Cho'Gath has 5 kills. I wouldn't be shocked if it's all 5.
It's so insane. Oh, here we go. Oh, nice.
Okay, should we just try 1v1ing on bot lane?
He just loses anyways.
What if we use Flash, Barrier, and Ult, and 1v1 a top laner who's level 17?
He didn't even get barreled, by the way. He just died. He got auto to death.
Yeah, he was level 17.
Oh god, dude. Oh my goodness. He flashed melee range. If he actually flashes to the side and maintains range, he wins, but
who needs range when you have Vayne? I mean, like, just condemn him into the wall, right?
Also,
or
with
like
the final hour invis, you know, you could utilize that to get some mobility and range away from space, but
you're thinking too much.
It's 1 whole second of invis.
You are thinking way too much for what this game has been.
Actually, I think the Ignite might have foiled that. But regardless, doesn't really matter. This Vayne just goes for a 1v1 anyways. And we're going to run it back on the Cho'Gath and Missy.
Yeah, I mean, Loki may be caught out, or he may just be looking for a different feasting opportunity. What is that damage? Oh, right, it's a 3.5 item, level 18 Cho'Gath. He gets to do these things. There's another power gets unleashed, this time onto Jackie, who just didn't have a chance standing that close against a Syndra. Now Cyclone onto Eastwag. He's going to have Serap's propped. He's level 15 finally, but he's still down on the Wukong in terms of level. He's going to get one more bonk. Nice Q there from the Jabba Jabba as the push is going to come through here. XSV, they already have Baron to their favor. They're looking for a soul in a minute. The push they get right now is so crucial. If they can get the inhib turret, it'll be massive. Even if they can't, it's still going to be nice. But they can maybe even look for a bit more. It's the jungle and support that are left alive. And if they keep stepping forward, they might be falling down. That chomp just did 2/3 of his HP. That's a Skarner. You're not meant to be able to do that. He has Night's Vow and Protoplasm Harness, and maybe you are meant to be able to do that, but the Bandle Pipe, surely able to put something there in response. Loki underrated.
God,
what is that?
I just realized, what is my Skarner building? Hold on.
It's support Skarner. This is like kind of normal, I think.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not normal. This is bad. The Protoplasm you can get away with, but like...
I've seen a lot of Protoplasm. The rest of it, the rest
Protoplasm is just a good cheap item for like health scalers. That's chill. Why are we building Night's Vow and Bandle Pipes? Like, surely. Like
he's been pretty low economy. Maybe that's all he thinks he can afford to try and keep up in terms of total items purchased. Like that's the only angle I can really see for it.
But he's 3 levels down on the Wukong. Like, surely. No one else is getting that CS either. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Other than that, this Cho'Gath is uncontested in this game. Because
4 items.
Yeah, I mean, even Eastwag, by the way, with fully stacked Roa, is down a level on Hunty. Although Hunty is going to get away.
Yeah.
So.
You think there's a chance and the Roam Warp gets scattered and Hunty is still safe with Flash intact. Looking to potentially increase this push down the mid wave as well. The Baron has fallen off, but the Scatter of the Week connects once more. Griffin's forced into a panic ult that goes wide and everyone splits the goalpost and he falls down. The reset's going to be somewhat awkward here if they even try to take them. Hunty going to get caught in the half, taken down to half HP rather, but still able to just keep on walking forward. There's 2 supers in this wave. That Cannon Barrage is absolutely nothing to the wave. Hunty's going to take more damage, but the Gangplank's dead instead. And the game might just be over because Jackie has taken a 3,000 HP instantly. The Impale onto from Panda Boy felt like he was the one getting impaled. That's why I got confused. He doesn't have a chance of living. And the game's over.
Yeah, final
The series is over.
The series is literally just over here. They have no defense. I mean, well, GG, I guess. I feel like Final Boss did nothing in this game. In general, like, that's kind of just how I feel right now. Like, nothing happened. They just lost.
Nothing happened and then they died.
like they tried multiple times in this game to pick out Cho'Gath of all people. Like of anyone in this game, you're like, I need to try and pick out the Fed Cho'Gath with my non-LDR having Sivir at the points they tried to pick out Cho'Gath. And my Rise, who has been down the entire game because he got completely shafted in like this mid defense for 18 minutes. I don't know. I have no words for Final Boss, but I do have some words for XSV. At the very least, this game was a lot more clean than last game. I think Loki underrated on the Cho'Gath on an absolute tear. And I thought Hunty on the Cinder was actually pretty good. So genuinely, I'm not that pressed, even though still some BOL diamond shenanigans and some chaos going through. Definitely not the worst thing in the world, especially well, you look at how the bot lane for Final Boss actually kicked off, right? They were super far ahead. And ultimately it just didn't matter. You weren't going to get through a level 19 Cho'Gath. So Final Boss finally dropped their first series of today.
Yeah, I mean, coming into today, I was interested to see if we're going to get any fraud watch statements, because this is a team in Final Boss that had won 2-1 twice against teams that are currently sat at 0-2, right? So obviously one of those losses is to Final Boss in those 3-game series. But the fact they've lost the other games as well means that the opposition they face so far probably haven't been having their best time. And after a series like this, I feel like Fraud Watch may have been a very accurate statement for where Final Boss were, because game one was close. We'll give them that. They took it the distance, but eventually the draft wasn't really there for them to carry that game towards the 35 to 40-minute mark, and they eventually just got outscaled. Game two, I would have liked them to have turned up. I would have liked to see them try and make some more plays happen. You have a global on Rise to try and make something happen in the sideline. You have a global on Gangplank to make something happen somewhere on the map. Even if your lanes don't go great, you have the ability to have action. You have an impetus on the map. Pandawo had an amazing lane gank, put himself a little bit behind, but nowhere near the 3 levels. We saw him down come late game. I mean, which was basically just due to the fact that they were trying to send everything to defend the mid-tier 1, that they couldn't even play their own jungle safely. Final Boss, I feel like they could have played the side lanes so much stronger. They could have been playing on all 3 lanes a lot more. Instead, they decide to try and play everything around the mid-tier 1 like their life depended on it, when if they let it go, it's just a fine game state still. The Sivir picks up the wave a little bit deeper. It is what it is. You let the Drakes stack up eventually from XSV, but that feels like that comes late enough where you have the scaling, you have the ability to maybe get through this insanely strong Cho'Gath. When he's at 5 items, your Sivir's at 6. It feels like that's a fight that you can take, but when you're forced into it this early on, XSV never really looked scared to take the fight, and they just kind of won them because they can stat check so efficiently.
Yeah, I think with Black Venom as well, he was the person who was farming the most out of his team, right besides Sivir catching mid waves. Ultimately, to just do nothing. Like
He did solo kill the Vayne when the Vayne decided to take a 1v1.
Yes, that is true. But that ultimately that's his only kill, by the way. It literally only killed this game
that
was
is his kill.
So, and that could have been completely avoided regardless. Like that was a fight that was unnecessary from, Kush in general, because the GP already got what he wanted, so he's gonna run away and base. Not like he could get anything else. But regardless, like if you are going to pick things like this GP and you are going to have them farming in the side lane for so long, they need to then have the impact that is missing from the mid game where they are, where Cho'Gath has been showing up, right? Where he is performing, right? Like that's the trade-off, right? You lose some of this mid game fighting power, so your carry top laner can, get strong and carry the late game for you, or be a big part of the late game. But when it fizzles out and does literally nothing, that's definitely not the look you're looking out of your GP. And this is maybe another draft question of should we have drafted GP this game? And in my opinion, I feel like no, because you just nothing happened because of it. I didn't feel like, wow, this GB champ is really added to their comp or to the game in any way whatsoever. This could have been a Fiora. This could have been this could have been a Garen.
Yeah.
And it would have performed better. I mean,
Garen
yeah,
was played in game one, to be fair, but
I'm aware that Garen was played game one, but and that's why I brought it up, is because they picked it game one. I'm just
that's
saying,
true.
this could have been Garen, and probably you'd done better.
I mean,
But, you know.
I feel like they banned a lot of the things that they could have looked at blind as well. I feel like when you ban Gwen, you ban Gnar, that's some of the more dependable blinds that you sometimes have. Taking something like a Renekton, if that's in your back pocket as a top player, I feel like that definitely could have worked. Plenty of options, but Garen chose in the end. Garen chose in the end game one. Gangplank in game two, minimum value found the whole way through. I feels like by most people here on Final Boss. I'm sure they'll look back at this series and work out some of the things they'd like to change, work out some things they'd like to do differently when next time comes around. But that is all we have for today. And with gold finishing as quickly as it is, that's all we have for Blue Otter today. I did not expect for everyone to be out of here in just 2 hours' time, but that's the state of things. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for being here for both Blue Otter streams. If you're here for both, if you're just here for one or the other, absolutely fine. Thank you very much indeed. And be sure to come back over the weekend because we have Premiere to watch. And if you enjoyed the chaos of a series like this, you guys are going to love watching Premiere because it is chaos like this taken to the extreme. So if nothing else, I hope to see you guys on Saturday and Sunday. But thank you all for watching, and we will see you guys next time.